And we're live. Welcome to episode number 7 of Potzblitz, the weekly lightning talk. Today we have a guest from Donnerlab. His name is Konstantin, or just Con. And we'll be talking about spreading the Bitcoin virus through games. So that's going to happen through. Con has a game that's called Bitcoin Bounty Hunt, and he's going to talk all about it. But before we dive into it, just a couple of words on this format. We try to design it as a sort of meetup, so please feel free to ask all the questions you have also during the presentation, either in the YouTube chat, on the MetaMost chat, FOMO MetaMost chat, it's mm.fomo.org, or also on Twitter using the hashtag Potzblitz. We are using Jitsi, a open source Zoom alternative video conferencing software to do this. And so if you want to try that, we also have an instance installed on FOMO. It's meet.fomo.org. You can use it without having to give up any of your data. If you like the show, give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. And without much further ado, I would like to give the stage to Con. Welcome.
Hey, FOMO, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. So I will just start right away. My name is Con. I work at Donnerlab, and we have been building Lightning games for about 2 years now. What I want to show you today are some things we learned while developing games, some mistakes we did that could probably have been avoided, and finally, I want to give you an overview and a technical overview of our new game, Bitcoin Bounty Hunt. So maybe you can learn some things about game development for Lightning, or why you may want to use Neutrino or other non-custodial solutions like we do. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about us, Donnerlab. Donner means thunder in German, so this is why we use this name. So it all started with the first Lightning Hack Day back in early of 2018, where I showed off a Lightning plugin for the Unity game engine. On the top right, you can see where I basically buy a Blockstream sticker with LND using the Unity game engine and in virtual reality. Another thing we did, for example, is on the bottom right, you can see this is a Minecraft server where we built in Lightning payments, for example, for the user to teleport himself. This is the example you can see. And like a lot of people, and I think all or a lot of Bitcoiners agree, Lightning and gaming is an amazing combination. It's super cool for gaming, but it's also very good for the Bitcoin and Lightning ecosystem. They could strongly benefit from having gamers in this sphere. So after this first hack day, together with my brother, I founded Donnerlab. And our main goal is to get gamers to be Bitcoiners. So we didn't want to create games for Bitcoiners. Our main goal is to bring in fresh meat, basically. So to achieve this goal, our idea is to create games and gameplay mechanics which cannot be done without Lightning. So if you just allow gamers to buy in-game items, for example, with Bitcoin or Lightning, I don't think anyone would care, basically. So right now we're 3 developers working on an online first-person shooter called Bitcoin Bounty Hunt. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about our canceled game, which helped us get where we are now. So Donner Dungeon. Some of you might know this. We worked for 1 year on this, but we stopped working on it. And I want to use this talk to give a short post-mortem, which is not only a thing in Ethereum DeFi development, but also in game development. So Donner Dungeon started out with the idea of having a player stream the game for an audience, for example, on Twitch or on YouTube. His viewers could pay Lightning invoices to send him enemies, for example. So these enemies, as you can see in the video, they were controlled by an AI, and players would directly control a hero, and it was a simple hack and slash video game. So technically how it works was that a streamer would run a Lightning node, and at this point in time, Neutrino was not on mainnet yet, but we thought a streamer might be able to run a full node, basically. So his viewers would use their mobile Lightning wallets to pay for these invoices, and they were sent over Twitch chat. We built it worked, and it was fun. However, at some point we thought, how will the viewers get Bitcoin, basically? We didn't think that the viewers would be inclined to go to exchange, buy Bitcoin, move that to a Lightning wallet, maybe open a channel and then use it. Because at this point of time, it was mid 2018, the UX of Lightning was still horrible. There was no Phoenix or Breeze wallet where you could have easily done that, basically. And at this point of time, we changed the game basically to a V2 version. And I think this was basically the biggest mistake we did for this game. So we wanted viewers to be able to stack sets, right? Like you would want to do it today. So we rebuilt the game and we followed this super short hype of auto chess games. This is like a card or deck building type of game where you would collect units and upgrade them and then basically let them fight against other players. So we moved from viewer versus streamer to viewer versus viewer. So we used our existing game stream as a game server, and viewers would be able to use a mobile or web app to choose their units, upgrade them, and then they could wager Satoshis to fight in the next round, basically. So you would fight one-on-one, and the winner of this fight would then earn Satoshis in a custodial wallet, which we controlled, and it wasn't simple AI with a deposit and withdraw command, basically. And they could use those earned sats to withdraw, but also to buy skins in game and to wager more sats. So the UX was nice and easy, and we had some play tests. However, the game wasn't that fun anymore, and it was just super hard to understand. Even gamers didn't really understand the game, except when they knew of this auto chess genre, which is still pretty niche today. And we thought this would be like the next Battle Royale or whatever. And another not so nice thing was the game now was 100% gambling, and it was completely custodial, both of which is heavily regulated in Germany and I think probably worldwide. So at this point of time, it was now after the Lightning Conference 2019, we came back, we were a little bit frustrated, and we decided, okay, let's take a 2-week break from Donner Dungeon before we release it, and everybody just built some small fun games in the meantime. So this is where Bitcoin Bounty Hunt basically came together. So I found this cool new networking tech stack called Spatial OS, which had a great first-person shooter demo, which already worked with a lot of players. And what I did is basically I used my old Unity Lightning plugin and integrated it to this first-person shooter demo, and it worked great. So after those 2 weeks, we did a playtest internally, and we all had really great fun. And we thought basically, okay, fuck it, let's do this instead of Donner Dungeon, which at this point of time we had worked 1 year on. So sunk cost fallacy did, I think, gladly not affect us at this point. So why did Bitcoin Bounty Hunt click for us after two weeks of developing and thinking about it? So first of all, it's a first-person shooter. Every gamer knows how to play a first-person shooter. Also, Donner Dungeon was a web or Donner Dungeon V2 was a web or mobile game. And now that we have a fully fledged desktop game, it's a lot easier to just install a node alongside the game. And now Neutrino was mainnet ready. So this means that we could start working on this non-custodial wallet game, which we thought of earlier. And here's where I want to have a look at custodial wallets. Basically, why would you want to use them? Or why would you want to use a Neutrino wallet, for example? A pro is not your keys, not your coins, right? So this is what this is a big pro for Bitcoiners, right? However, I personally think that for gamers, it's not that important. It's nice to have, but I don't think they would care if they would have a balance of $100 on some custodial wallet. A bigger pro for us is you benefit much quicker from Lightning improvements. So as we're using LND Neutrino, if they bring in a new update with cool features, we can instantly start using them. And I will show you an example of this later. And this is just, it's for us, it's basically free development improvement. Also, security aspects are pretty cool if you do non-custodial wallets, because there's no central point of failure, right? In our old custodial system, if you would hack us, you could steal all user funds. And right now, you can only steal our funds, and basically user funds are safe. And also regulation-wise, it's much easier in Germany, at least, and this is where we're based at, and this is why we think this is a very important point, is if you want to build a custodial wallet, you need to be this crypto Verwahrer, which is super expensive, and it's just really hard to get. The cons of non-custodial wallets are, okay, it's much harder to do a good UX, and it's hard to explain these intricacies to users. What is a channel? Why does it take time? Why does it cost me something? It's also harder to be portable. It's hard to do on mobile, seed backups, channel backups. It may take some more development time, but I'm not too sure about this. And also the cost is pretty high. So managing channels is expensive when on-chain fees are high, and in the last fee spikes, that was pretty costly for us, is what I would say. So I don't know, if we look at this, in my opinion, there are cons to using non-custodial wallets or the Neutrino wallet as we do, but they can be worked around. A custodial wallet will never be hack resistant, and it will probably always fall under regulation, where you, with a non-custodial wallet, you can work around these cons. But I think this is something that we can discuss. For example, Neutrino is, for some people, not considered to be non-custodial. We heavily think so, but I would be happy to discuss this. All right, back to Bitcoin Bounty Hunt.
You've mentioned Neutrino a couple times. I think I'm not sure if you go into that later, but if not, maybe you can give.
Yeah, just a couple of words.
Just explain, or briefly explain what it is and how it works, just because it seems to be a pretty essential thing.
So those of you who run, for example, a Raspberry Blitz or who run a Lightning full node will know that you need to sync a Bitcoin backend to be able to use Lightning, right? And Neutrino basically circumvents this by downloading block filters from serving nodes. So these nodes serve block filters to Neutrino nodes, who then do not need to have a fully synced Bitcoin backend. And there are BTCD nodes who can serve these filters, but also there's a Bitcoin Core pull request, which we personally run and which works fine. So it's basically a light Lightning wallet, where you do not need to have the space requirements, the hard drive requirements, and bandwidth requirements that you need with a Bitcoin full node. But there is probably some trust involved in there. So this is the drawback. I hope that's a good enough explanation.
Yeah,
all right.
Thanks.
Back to Bitcoin Bounty Hunt. So how does it work? There's this small little video. I don't know how good you can see it, but as I said, it's a first-person shooter. You run around, you collect these Satoshi cubes. These cubes contain Satoshis, which increase your bounty. When killing players, they will drop their bounty, which you can then collect as a Satoshi cube, what you can see here. Your bounty slowly converts to earnings. They are safe and they are not dropped on death. And at the end of the round, all of your bounty will also get converted to your earnings. Now, the cool part is that every conversion is a Lightning payment, where you get 1 SAT for every SAT in your earnings, for example. Yeah, so here in the video, this is the old UI, old UX. I just showed it because it shows everything. So there, at this point of time, we did the channel management on the game server, which we now changed and which I will show you soon. Yeah. All right. Our players are able to stack sats, which means they do need to have Bitcoin to get started, right? No, that's not true. So we have thought of some things how we can basically get money to the game so that we can gift it to our players. So you can basically, there are multiple ways how we get these Satoshis to the game. The first is advertising. So as you can see in this picture, we have these ad spaces. So on the top right, you can see a video where I buy basically a sponsor image. So a sponsor would upload an image, pay an invoice. We need to look over it. It shouldn't be not safe for work. And then they have their image in game. Their image on a website has like a Satoshi balance, which means how many Satoshis will be distributed to players directly. So if a advertiser has 1K Satoshis, this means that these 1K will be distributed to players directly. The other way Satoshis get in our game is via our item shop. So players can, but this is this video. So players can buy skins for their character, and this percentage of this purchase is then put in a pool, and from this pool is will be some new Satoshi cubes spawned, basically. Another type of payment are streamer payments. So this is what we basically took over from Donner Dungeon, is viewers of a streamer. I stream sometimes, and my viewers can increase my bounty with Lightning payments. So what they would do is, hey, I want to increase your bounty by 1K sats. And the cool thing is, this is not only this is a donation, right? So he increases my bounty by 1K Satoshis, and then I get some of these back because I convert these to earnings, or maybe I survive with them, but also it makes my game more fun, right? Because now the other players see that, hey, this guy has a lot of bounty, I want to attack him, basically. And the last part are basically we have a small donation pool. So there you can donate to, and this will get also get spawned in Satoshi cubes. All right, some technical overview. So these are just some slides that I did basically to, I don't know, it just shows how our system works. I think this can be interesting for some of you. So if you have questions, feel free to ask them. So this is how it looks like. I will try to go into detail. So I think the most interesting part is probably this part. So this is the game client side. So you have this game client, which, let me just have a pointer here. So this is the game client. This is normal, our Unity game. It's basically a built in Unity with a game. The other part of our client is the LND running in neutrino mode. And then basically the magic happens with the Donner daemon. Basically, we put Donner before everything we use. So this is the Donner daemon. So this is what the player uses to start the game. When it starts up, it connects to our backend service, to our platform, and it starts the LND in neutrino mode. And if that all works, it will start the game. The cool thing is we have LND for a player, right? We have one LND for every player. So every player has his own pub key. And we use the sign message and verify message of LND basically to do user authentication and identity. So there's no login or email needed. However, this also has the drawback we need to do seed management and backups, and also channel backups. And again, the cool part here is we're using native LND basically. So as they expand their LND with new features, we can use them in our daemon and in our game. So for example, let's say we have a LND account system. I think Guguro is working on this. So what we can now do is basically, because right now the daemon passes the admin macaroon to the game client. So now we can say, oh, pass a more restrictive macaroon to a game of a developer I don't trust, or even if I trust him, I just want him to be able to spend 1K Satoshis, for example. So this is where we can build a lot on top of on this side. You're probably now wondering if you know a little bit about Lightning. Okay, these users, they can earn Satoshis, but where's the channel management basically? How would they be able to earn these payments? So this is where our platform comes in. So this is the part of the client which I showed you in the slide before, and this is basically our platform. And what the platform does is it does all the channel management. It uses something we call a coin buffer, and this is where sats are collected until the user reaches enough Satoshis to earn a channel, basically. So how we do it is the buffer accepts key send payments, where one field of this TLV payload is the recipient's pub key. So when a daemon starts, he connects to the platform and says, with a sign message, verify message type scheme, he says, hey, I'm here. And all the platform then does is push out all key send payments, which it buffered to the daemon then again. Yes, we think this is pretty cool, and I think this platform type of thing can be used for more stuff. So I'm happy to answer questions about it. And as of right now, the coin buffer can be used for more than just channel management, for example, also for offline payments. But this is something which would then be custodial, and we're not sure about the regulations on this. But it's a pretty cool thing to do. All right, now maybe this makes more sense. So here you can see the client side again. This is the platform, and here is all the game backend stuff. So we have basically two LNDs, so one for the game and one for the platform. And we wanted to separate this early, so the game stuff is completely separate from our platform and daemon stuff, because we think that other developers may want to use our daemon and also may want to use the platform. Because basically what we're building here is an ecosystem of these Lightning native video gamers, players, who are all connected via channels via our platform. And I told of an example, or I want to show you an example of how an LND improvement in our case, how it really improved our workflow. So before key send, for example, I hope you can understand it if I explain it now. So the game client, the Unity game, he got some earnings, right? So he earned some Satoshis. Now he wanted to pay it out to his LND node. So what he would do, because now the game server's LND would want to pay him, right? So what the game client would do is go to the daemon, ask, hey, can you give me an invoice for this amount, for the payout amount? The daemon would then look to his LND, hey, do I have a channel with the platform? If yes, return an invoice I created. If no, then the daemon would ask the platform, hey, can you give me an invoice so that I can pay this coin buffer? And then the invoice would return to the daemon, to the game client, and the game client would send it to the game server, and the game server would pay it to with his LND to the platform. So this was before key send. Now key send is here. This is super nice. So now the game server sees, hey, this user got some earnings. Let's try to do a key send payment to his pub key, because again, the pub key is his game identifier, basically. If this doesn't work for whatever reason, no channel, maybe the channel balance is wrong, let's just do a key send payment to the platform. And this is basically how one small LND improvement removed a lot of overhead for us. All right, so here I would be very happy if you have questions and I can answer them for you. So what's the state of Bitcoin Bounty Hunt? We are in an early alpha right now. The game is live 24/7 on one EU server, but we want to change this up in the next week. So we want to have a US server, or maybe we will switch between EU and US, because it sucks with the ping times, basically. The first response was pretty great. Our Discord is filled with 1.3K users, and I have the feeling, or we have the feeling, that most of them are basically pre-coiners. So they ask, which wallet can I use? How do I pay? What is a Lightning invoice? Some people try to enter some Coinbase links into their Lightning node. So this is really cool, because we're seeing, okay, there's interest from pre-coiners, and they want to learn, and they can learn via this game. And we have already built this community who now tries to guide these new players. And also the advertiser reaction was pretty cool. So we have some Bitcoin projects who are advertising, some podcasts, some memes. So it's pretty cool. And we try to do weekly patches where we improve the gameplay, and also where we improve our daemon, because right now it has no UI and stuff like this. So the future of Bitcoin Bounty Hunt. So we're building Bitcoin Bounty Hunt to be like an entry drug for gamers to Bitcoin. We want them to stack sats. We want them to enter the ecosystem, so that for our advertisers, for example, if they are an exchange or a wallet or a Lightning accepting service, and they know, okay, these are new users who now have their first sats, maybe it's super interesting for them to advertise to them. So this is pretty cool for us. So when they play Bitcoin Bounty Hunt, they will have a daemon, they will have an LND neutrino node, and also a channel. So we are creating these Lightning native users who can then also use, because it's just LND, who can then use this Chrome extension to what's it called? Now I'm out of words. I'm so
Joule, probably?
Yes, Joule. Yes, Joule. So they can now use Joule because they can just connect it to the LN node. And as we know, Lightning is the future of the internet with LSATs and whatever. So it's pretty cool to create these Lightning native users. We also see this tech as a possibility for existing game platforms to use it. So, I don't know, it's a highball, but it could be Steam or Origin, or we love Itch, what we're currently using, because it's super easy to use, it's peer-to-peer, and we think it's pretty safe regulation-wise. And also, look, if Steam would take our job of the platform and would create Lightning channels to its millions of users, what would they earn in transaction costs? What would they basically, they wouldn't have any more Visa or MasterCard costs, but they would have these Lightning native peer-to-peer users, which would be pretty cool. And next week we will be part of the next Mint Gox, where we'll have a tournament, and we hope that we will get a lot of users at once, basically as a cool like stress test. And I think there will be a lot of Satoshis to win. So if you're interested, you can join it. The game is currently only on Windows. A Mac build is ready. We're very noobish with all this Mac packaging stuff. So if anyone knows about how to do this correctly, please send me a message. That would be pretty great. And Linux support could be there in the future. However, our networking tech stack, this spatial, as what I said, is currently not supporting it. So, but I'm pretty sure that it should work at some point, and hopefully in the next months, because I think the issue is known, or what the issue is known. All right, thanks for listening. I would be happy to answer any questions. Thanks Fulmo for having me again at a event of yours. I'm always happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for the presentation. I'm just checking the channels if there's any questions so far. I mean, I'm not sure if you remember, but some years ago, Steam already accepted Bitcoin payments. I think it was implemented in their platform. Back then, it was done via BitPay, I believe, and for some reason, which I'm not 100% aware of. I mean, I can guess, but they dropped it.
I think it was because
at some point
on chain fees or something like this.
Yeah, probably, possibly. But yeah, I mean, this sounds like a good, a different way and a pretty good way to sort of onboard users. So there's this one guy called Jonas who's asking about the after party in Bitcoin Bounty Hunt.
Yeah, we could do that.
That would be nice. I mean, and this also goes into the question from MZ, and he's just asking, where can you get the game? So where can you play? Like, or download it?
It's to go to bitcoinbountyhunt.com and just scroll down, and here's on itch. You can then download the game. But however, it's most easiest if you directly use the itch launcher, which is basically like a Steam. So yeah. So here you can then just simply launch the game, and now all the magic happens in the background, and my Lightning node starts up. I don't know how well this works now.
Well, live demos always work.
Yeah, they always work. But it looks fine. Oh, it's very loud. Yeah, so this is the game. You have a character you can equip skins with. You have this league, what is Can you still see me? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We
fine.
have
Perfect.
these leagues, which are like these global rankings. So you can see, okay, the Rain is leading the global league, and then this Hunters League is basically ranked for kills and deaths. So this guy already has 1.1k kills, which is pretty cool. And the Looters League is basically earnings. So as you can see, the best player got 228k Satoshis. So how much is that? 18 euros or something? Oh, it's pretty cool. And these are basically the donators. And the wallet.
I'm a bit surprised that Dr. Watt is not on the list, or just place 8. Wasn't he like the guy who always kills
8,
everyone?
Yeah, but there new challenges arose, and they are also pretty good. So Dr. Watt. So my placement in this Hunter League is pretty bad. Oh yeah, I have some kills, but not many. Yeah, and so basically when you press play, you're in game. The problem is, yeah. Oh, there are some players. Nice. So in 10 seconds on the top left, you can see, okay, this is now the lobby round. This is where you hang out. And then in 5 seconds, the next round will start. I think it's a little bit shocking for you in the live stream. So now Bounty Boss starts. So this is our new game mode where one person gets all of this round's Satoshi basically. So on the top, you can see this mini map, this radar, where I can now walk to him and I can try to kill him, but I will probably fail. And here you can see all these advertisers. So yeah, Tales from the Crypt and memes and all the good stuff.
Okay, cool. Is there a way to interact with the advertisements?
Yes. When I die, I can show you. Where's this guy? He should be pretty close. He's not AFK. It looks like he's AFK. Easy kill. So now I can pick it up, and on the right you can see my bounty increased to 490. So let's just die.
Harder than it seems. Huh?
So now here you can see I get some random advertisers, and I can click on them. I can respawn, and now if I close the game or just alt tab it, the advertisers open. Basically, this is how we interact with these advertisers.
Ah, okay, nice.
Yes. This is basically it. This is the game. And we're still working a lot. So this is not basically our level. This was still from the spatial first-person shooter demo. So we have a lot of plans how we want to do cool maps and map design and stuff like this.
So how many people are currently working on Bitcoin Bounty Hunt?
It's 3 people. It's one, besides me, is one game developer and one backend and DevOps guy. And
cool. And so
this is my balance. And I should have some more earnings. And if I pay them now here, so there's always the possibility to donate, to pay with an external wallet, or also to pay with my in-game wallet, which is just LND running in neutrino mode.
Nice. So where did the money go? That was too quick. Did you just donate it?
I just paid the money back to the game basically, so that
okay,
the users will benefit from it.
Yeah, cool. So sorry, so Itch is just a different platform like Steam?
Itch is similar to Steam, yes, but it's more so Steam, we were on Steam initially, but they rejected us from their store because they only allow in-game payments when they use their Steam Wallet API, which only supports, I think, transactions larger than 50 cents, and it's fiat old school bullshit, and they basically rejected us because we're not using the Steam wallet. And then we went to Itch, and it was perfect. They were basically fine with it.
Okay, so this is actually like a proper use case that Steam hasn't implemented yet, and you might just be opening up the way for like proper micropayments. That's pretty cool. Allow me to ask another question. So there's another game out there that might be similar, or I'm not sure how similar. I mean, is there a lot of development in the general gaming space for Bitcoin and Lightning games, or
Of course, yes.
how would you like?
You have the Satoshis Games guys. They work on Light Night, which is a third-person shooter. They are also pretty big on the Bitcoin and Lightning train, but I've not seen the game yet for multiplayer or any of the Lightning or Bitcoin implementations. And then there's the CBD guys. They are building games, and they are building a game development platform, which I think you can already use. So that's CBD. They are also
we had them before in an episode, in one of the other episodes. I don't remember the number, but you can check it out on the playlist on the channel.
But I think so. Our case is we're using Neutrino and non-custodial wallets, and I don't think any of them do that yet. Maybe they will at some point. I always think of regulations. I don't know if they think of that, but for me, the biggest thing is just regulation on custodial wallets. I don't think you want to do KYC or AML when you register for a game.
So you're basically trying to keep your overhead small and trying to find the best way, so you don't have to, so you can concentrate on making a good game instead of having to become a proper bank.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what is the better user experience, logging in with a bank statement or just starting up a game and you don't even know that there's a Bitcoin node running? I think. But I mean, we cannot do, at least at the moment, we cannot do mobile, which they would probably easy be able to do. And also web apps would be weird, but should work.
All right. I think it's worth going back a bit to the technical slide. Maybe I overheard it, but so before you said you had to like sort of communicate the invoice if there's no existing channel all the way back from platform to daemon to game client to game server. And what exactly changes now with key send?
So with key send, I can just, from the game server, I can just say, hey, send a payment with this amount to this pub key, right? And as the game server knows every user's pub key because they log in with that, I can just say, pay this pub key. If this does not work, I can say, pay the platform with, and you can add these TLV payloads, which is like extra data to Lightning payments now. And what we do is we do a key send payment, and we add the user's pub key as one of the data fields, and then the platform knows, hey, this payment was meant for this user, and he aggregates his local balance. And if he does not have a channel yet, he will just aggregate all these payments, and as soon as this player has enough funds on his coin buffer, then the platform would open a channel to him, basically. And at this point of time, now that when the channel has been confirmed, then the game server would be able to directly send those key send payments to the user without going through the platform.
Okay, so what's the threshold for opening a channel?
We had it hard coded at 5K Satoshis. Now we have it different. So we tell the user, you need to earn 5K sats to be able to earn a Bitcoin bounty hunt license, right? This is how we try to gamify it. And I think they understand it because they seem to know, okay, I need to work for something so that I can then earn it. So I think they understand it even while they don't understand it, basically. And we internally, we have like our own fee estimator, but in the last fee spikes, that sucked for us, basically, because at this point of time, we had just said, okay, so we do it with a target estimation of 12 hours, and that was expensive in the last fee spikes.
Right, but imagine this doesn't really matter to most of the new users, or
Probably
is this
not.
something of importance?
No, but it's of importance of us that these what the user earns is more or equal to what we pay for the channel, because then we can be DDoSed, right? So a player could create a lot of nodes and just basically empty our funds. And this is also the expensive part of our platform, because we need to open channels to every user. If a player just plays once, he earns enough to earn a channel, and now all of our funds are locked in this channel. If we close it, we pay then these closing fee transactions. So this is really something that is pretty costly. And also at this point, we're thinking, maybe we should use, for example, we now have 3 users who basically deleted all their seeds and channel backups and lost their channels. What do we do now? We know that this user has no channel. We could use the Lightning protocol to basically steal all his funds and try to send him back, for example, or do we just close? But then this one user, he had like 20k sats. If we close the channel, those are lost. And this is the costly part of all of this. And this is where a lot more engineering works needs to be directed at, to automate these channels. So right now, if a user basically empties his channel, so we do not open a new channel, for example, if we see, okay, this is a power user, he maybe wants to spend more in one transaction, because we open our channels with a 60k SAT balance. We do this because we want to give users the possibility to do a loop out with Lightning Labs loop. We have not implemented that yet, but you need a minimum size of 50k, I think, to use loop outs.
Right.
And this is because this is something that would be cool, because a lot of them may have like traditional Bitcoin wallets, not a lot, but some of them may want to use them, and so they could just loop out their funds. But we think that if we direct the users to so that they have a, I don't know, Phoenix wallet, Breeze wallet would probably be best, so that they can just receive a Lightning sats.
Yeah, I mean, down the line, you could also offer users not only to withdraw, but to actually use their sets for other things, right?
I mean, you can do that.
Yeah.
You can pay Poyo feeds from in-game, for example.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a cool idea. You go into some corner, you have like
there's
a chicken coop, and you feed you put the stream from Poyo feed in.
I mean, we're doing a first-person shooter, right? But if you look at all these upcoming or these already working virtual Bitcoin meetups, having payments in-game that do something is actually pretty fun. And we want to explore this a bit more. So we have these in-between rounds where maybe you can just, I don't know, do something with your payments that is fun, let fireworks explode, or have an announcer say something. I think paying for silly stuff is fun. Like Poyo feed, but it's not silly.
No, it is pretty good stuff. I'm quite excited to. Maybe we should. I mean, usually we do a Jitsi hangout afterwards. And if you're down, we can do this today as well. I'm going to post the link in a couple minutes. But maybe we can also just jump into the game and see how it works. I think that's cool. Like after you talked about it so much.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how many of you have a Windows PC. This is pretty hard.
I mean, that's a bit of a bummer, but I think I can. I'll try to join in. Okay. Are there any other questions to Con? I'm just checking the other. So there's no questions on MetaMost so far. Also checking Twitter and YouTube. Usually we do have a co-host, but today I think I decided to let the game speak for itself, and also as Con said already, I've personally been following the development because he's actually one of the Lightning Hack Day veterans. Already got his streak medal, and I had the great pleasure to play all these games he mentioned this before. I really enjoyed Donner Dungeon as well. Playing it on a big screen in New York, that was fun.
Yeah, but this was the old version with the streamer versus viewer. So Donner Dungeon V1, and then we moved to V2. Yeah, this is where it went downhill.
Can you still play them, or are they completely?
No.
Okay.
It was never available for download.
Oh, just for demos. Okay.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah. We may revisit it if we're
all right.
finished with Bitcoin Bounty Hunt, which we probably never will be.
All right. I'm just going to put the link here. Just give me a second. And could you also close your screen share for a second? Thank you. All right. If you want to join in after Hangout and maybe talk a bit more, I post the link in just 1 second on YouTube, and I also put it on Twitter. So don't leave just yet.
I won't.
All right. All right, I'm going to post this in a second. Thank you, Con, for coming and giving presentation. That was quite interesting. I'm always excited to hear from you and see all the progress you're making with the games, and now Bitcoin Bounty Hunt, and excited to get owned in a couple minutes as well.
Nope.
Yeah. So next week we're going to have René Picard on a bit more technical talk. He's going to talk about routing, especially his proposal on JIT routing, and also giving a comparison of different routing schemes and routing improvements. So if you're not going to mint Gox, tune in again, but this is also going to be recorded, so you can also just join Con for mint Gox and come on later. Thank you for watching. Con, thanks again for coming, and I'll see you next week for the next episode of Potzblitz. Good night.